now 6 p.m. for our special called council meeting for August the 15th of 2024. And I want to thank everybody for being here. It's good to look out there and see a lot of good people's faces. Everybody out there is good people. And the ones that are listening too. And I just want to say thank y'all for being here. I appreciate it. If y'all would please stand for prayer. What I'm going to do tonight, we're going to say the Lord's Prayer. And y'all can join in if you'd like. I know I always was told that if I'm going to say a prayer for myself, I should start it out with the Lord's Prayer and then tell him what you're talking about and everything. And I do that every day. And this morning I thought that, and I thought, you know, we're just going to say that tonight. I just think it'd be good for everybody. All right? Our Father in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Your kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I love the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible. Y'all may have a seat. Thank y'all.
I've been on here 4 years. I finally learned that.
Yeah. I still have to look at it sometimes on my paper just to make sure I got it, say it correctly. Okay. I want to thank, up here we have our council members. To my left, I have Councilman Wiggins and Councilman McLaughlin. Over here to my right is McLaughlin. To my left, it's Councilman McGruer. And our city administrator, Kent Manton. I always get these two mixed up, the names mixed up. Not the people, just the names.
Mick.
Yeah.
Yeah, we look good.
Yeah, y'all look different. Y'all do.
I'm shorter.
Yeah, she's shorter. Yeah. And to my right, I have Councilman Griffin and Councilman Prater. And today is Councilman Prater's birthday. I just want to say that.
Thank you.
And then in the back, I have Jamie Rodriguez. She is our water clerk. And I have Pam Combs, our city secretary. And in the back, I have Chief Dorsey, Michael Dorsey, our chief of police here at Bruceville-Eddy. And thank y'all again for all being here. Citizens presentation. The City Council welcomes public comments at this point on items not specifically listed on the agenda. Speakers must sign up before the meeting begins. Speakers are limited to 5 minutes each. The council cannot respond to matters not listed on the agenda until a future meeting. Do we have anybody signed up to speak? No. Okay, moving right along. Number 3, ordering the general election. Council to discuss, consider, and possibly take action to order the November the 2024 general election for 3 expired council members' seats. Okay, Kent?
Yes, Mayor, Council, there's not much to this one here. This is for the November 5th general election. This is for 3 city council positions. Just need to get formal action on this item tonight so I can send it over to the election administration's office.
Okay, all right. Okay, it is now, well, oh, we need action on that. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Wiggins?
Okay. I move to order the November 2024 general election for 3 expiring council member seats.
I'll second.
Okay, Prater seconds. All right, all in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, it is now 6:05, and our special called council meeting is now closed. It is now 6:05, and our public hearing is now open. Council to hear public comments on the USDA-approved sewer rate structure along with its corresponding ordinances. And this is where the citizens have a chance to speak about this without the council's interrupting or talking about it. No discussions.
And Mayor, I'll just go ahead and kick things off.
Yes,
This
sir.
is USDA's approved rate structure. Tonight, we're just beginning the process of approving this through the tariff process. So tonight is just the first reading. The second reading will be next week on the 22nd. We're just open to any comments from the citizens tonight, and then just give council an opportunity to discuss this a little bit further if they desire.
Is there anybody any citizen would like to say anything about this? Yes, ma'am. State your name, please.
Cherie McGruer, 915 Old Moody Road. I just have a question. Is it the base rate would be 71.44, and then we would add in however many gallons get used every month?
That's correct. Yes, ma'am.
Anyone else have any comments or any discussions that they'd like to talk about this? Okay, yes, sir. Tell us your name, sir.
John Coleman, 320 Franklin Road here. People that live behind me, or that bought the property behind me, I met last night. They bought 14 acres behind me, and just so I know how things are going to run, I said, so are you going to be covered under the new sewer structure to be able to get a sewer line and tap there? And he said, no. He said, I'll have to pay extra to have that done. And I didn't know what the answers were to all that. So for anybody who just comes in and buys property like that now, they'll be required to pay for their tap fees and all that.
All we could do right now is just take your comments on this, and then when we close the hearing, then we'll open it up for discussion, and then that way you can get a feedback.
Okay.
But this is just for your comments, sir. Okay. Anyone else have any comments? Okay. It is now 6:07, and the public hearing is now closed. And it is now 6:08, and our regular special call city council meeting is now open. Council to hear public comments.
Number 6.
Sewer. Number 6, council to discuss and consider ordinance 08-21-2024-3, establishing the USDA approval sewer rate structure, first reading. Now we can take questions and then we can answers.
And I will just provide a point of clarity here. This is actually ordinance 8/2022, 2024-1. I had an error on my original agenda. So to answer your question, sir, so for anybody else building a new structure after the fact, they would have to pay that tap fee of $3,000 to connect on, plus add in any of their customer lines for that. But if the sewer is reasonably available in front of that property, they would be required to do so at their own cost. Council just made the decision early on to include service connections for those 311 as a part of the original loan process, which is why it was on the higher end. That was important too.
Yes, yeah, it's for the rooftops that were already here, not for any new ones. Okay. Anybody else have any questions or any comments? Anything? Okay, all right, so do we have an action or no action is taken? No action, okay. So there's no action taken on this, so we'll just move right along. All right. It is now 6:09, and the city council meeting is closed. And it is 6:09, and the public hearing is on budget. Council to hear public comments on the proposed budget for the fiscal year 2024-2025 General Water Sewer Economic Development Corporation Street Maintenance and Hotel Occupancy Tax Fund. Kent?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Citizens, brings me great pleasure to get to do this process. It's a very tedious process to get through all the budget numbers and get to this point. But again, I just want to thank the budget committee members who served creating this vision for our next year of progress here in Bruceville-Eddy. And I just want to thank all of our taxpayers out there who help support this each and every day through your business transactions in the community, through your paying property taxes. It really is a combined effort. We just have different roles sometimes. So I just wanted to start things off by going over this current fiscal year's set of accomplishments here. Of course, there were many more, but these are some of the highlights. First and foremost, that sewer system that we've been planning for many years is finally moving forward. So that was a huge feat. Keep reminding ourselves, even on our hard days, that we are doing good. Passage of 2 new sales tax to supplement our overall budget. Those had specific uses. One is for that street maintenance fund, and the other is for the economic development fund. Major street overhauls with the county. Got that bonus road included, and then thanks to council's support, we also were able to purchase that Durapatcher, and we've been able to make great strides getting our streets patched up. Still got quite a bit more work to do, so we'll be starting that whole process over very soon. We auctioned off some underutilized land in the city that had been sitting vacant. We got that back into private hands. Hopefully some more development will come out of that. Kicked off water line improvements in Falls County just last week. They're already made it almost to the second bend on 12th and 9. So doing really good work out there. Various security enhancements at our water system sites and here at City Hall. We purchased a new truck as well as a vac trailer for the Public Works Department. Again, just trying to increase efficiency, making sure that our folks aren't breaking down on us when they're out in the field in those vehicles, that they have all the parts that they need. So just streamlining things there. Upgrades to the council and court microphone system. That's set to kick off here in about 2 weeks. They'll be doing all the installations in between our regular city council meetings. So you should have new microphones to train on in September. Hopefully all that will go swimmingly and that they will be an upgrade and not anything different. We also invested in employee retention and training. It's our biggest line item on just about any budget is the staff, right? The folks who drive everything, drive this vision of council and the community. And then also we created that Type B Economic Development Corporation. Just skip down here to our local tax rate. So we are proposing the same tax rate as last year, that 46 cents per $100 evaluation. Here's a comparison to some of our neighboring cities. Some of them, not quite an apples-to-apples comparison. Some of them more in line with that. But you can see the city of Bruceville-Eddy, we currently are supporting only maintenance and operation taxes. No debt is currently supported by property taxes. So that's a win, despite all that we've been able to do. And you can see we're the tax rate is actually lower than most of our neighbors here. So I'll just go over the budget overview. 2024-2025, it fully funds our current operations here at the city, maintains that property tax rate, funds significant improvements and maintenance to our water system. That's a combination of grant funding that we were just awarded, including cash contributions from our fund balance. It does account for all of the construction and the maintenance and operation of the sewer system over the first couple years, or next year anyways. Funding for drainage improvements. Last year, lots of rain hitting us all at once. We saw the problems with that, and so we've already begun some work. This is going to just allow us to continue to do those upgrades. Increase investment in city streets. So from this year, which was already a doubling from years in the past, this is going to see another 46% increase in funding, and that's outside of our sewer system project that already has full overlays of roads after the work's done. Funding employee and retirement compensation and benefit changes. You'll see those at next week's city council meeting. Essentially, that's just our first ever COLA to our current retirees. That was a council priority that we've been working to make happen. This also provides some funding, an increase to funding for our animal control services and enforcement activities. And it plans for the costs associated with our grant projects. And it says right there, if selected, we were actually selected last week for the Community Development Block Grant, $500,000 grant for water line improvements here in the city limits. We do have a $25,000 match to that. So total project, $525,000. Huge win there. Okay, I'll skip some of these here. I'm happy to go back and go over anything. Just trying to get through here efficiently. We'll go over the budget proposals for next year. So those requested pending amendments that we discussed at our budget workshop, council, those have been corrected. You'll see those in the updated budgets, and they're ready for your review. Some of our discretionary expenditures for the general fund over the next year, first and foremost, cyber attacks have been running rampant across the state. So Texas Municipal League Intergovernmental Risk Pool has switched up how they're doing some of those insurance protection coverage in the future. They split that out. We're opting to go with the highest amount of coverage for a city our size. It's a pretty good value, I think, for what you get, but it gives us that extra layer of protection because I think at this point it's not a if, it's a when. Something's going to happen. Street repairs, I talked a little bit about that already. It does set aside funding for some of our current court cases in motion and some of those pending litigations that we may be considering. It does also fund a base rate increase for our police officers, and you were provided with that information, what those new numbers are going to look like. We're looking at tree trimming services with the county or with a vendor to come in and kind of assist us with some of those hard to reach locations, help us really just clear out sections instead of us, having to respond to these emergencies where vegetation should have been cleared out a little bit before, a severe weather event happens. So we're looking at some different solutions to that. Animal control activities, this would either fund some sort of solution here on our own or an interlocal agreement with the city of Waco. And then we talked about that last one already. For the water fund, again, cyber pool coverage, we are going to be purchasing or bringing a recommendation to purchase a new dump trailer. We would not get rid of our old one, but it is a little undersized and it does have a bent axle, which kind of limits the amount of work that crews are able to do. So this would just increase their capacity. This also funds for that rolling generator. This is something that we had budgeted for this fiscal year. We just weren't able to tackle. It's probably one of the few priorities that we had. We just weren't able to get around to. Falls County Water System Improvement Upgrades, that's that FM 1239 project, and it also has some money set aside for securing the water well land site in Falls County. This also has money for more proactive maintenance for our water plant sites. Anybody who's been coming to these meetings knows that we've been challenged with some electrical issues, so we would have a little bit more wiggle room to spend on that project over the next year and anything else that comes up. This also is going to fund a request for proposals for a new solid waste contract. We've had our current vendor since 2005, 2006 or so, and we'll be coming up on a renewal of that agreement in 2026. If we begin the process now, we'll have plenty of time to hire a consultant and really do this right and bring several different recommendations and hopefully the best negotiation and best price for council to consider. And this would also fund our first ever capital improvement plan, which is a central component of eventually setting impact fees. So that was a priority of the Budget Committee and a priority of the Infrastructure Planning Committee. Some of the other discretionary expenditures that are going to hit all funds, it does have a 3.2% COLA for all employees that have been here at least past a year. Right now, I think the Southern CPI was at 3.9% or something like that, so it's pretty much in line with that. And then we already talked about that TMRS COLA plan that you'll be seeing next week. So with that, I can go into a little bit more detail on any of these aspects. If you have any questions. Otherwise, I think that'll conclude my
All right. And do we have any comments or anything for right now? Questions? Okay, that would be on when I close this public hearing and open it back up. Anybody have any comments or anything they want to say about it? Anything? Okay. All right. It is now 6:19 and the public hearing for the budget is now closed. And it is 6:19 and our regular special call city council is now open. Adoption of the proposed fiscal year 2024-2025 budget. Council to discuss, consider, and possibly take action to adopt ordinance 08-15-2024-1, adopting the budget for the 2024-2025 general water, sewer, economic development, corporation, street maintenance, and hotel occupancy tax funds. Okay, now we can take your questions, sir.
tree trimming and all that sort of thing, back during when we had all our freezes and then tornadoes came through and stuff like that.
Yes, sir.
The power companies through there negated to do their responsibilities about doing tree trimming, and I questioned them about their lack of work and not taking care of things where it wouldn't tear down the utility system, and I found that to be falling on deaf ears, and they really didn't care about it.
Well,
And I'm-
you live in southern Eddy, right, sir, off Franklin,
Yes.
if I believe?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Actually, just got notice from Encore last week that they plan on doing vegetation maintenance in your area in September. So I
it's
don't know
coming.
what that'll look like, but they did give us a heads up that they're going to be doing some proactive work on it, so.
Yeah, they had some crews back here, what, 3 or 4 months ago, somewhere in there. You know, and I happened to be at home when they started doing that. And I was trying to get them to trim some stuff because I got tired of their trees falling over on my fences.
Right.
And I cut up a heck of a bunch of it and just laid it back right where it fell from because it was on their right of way. And I thought, you know, and I talked to several of their supervisors and all that, but it was as if they didn't give a hoot about, you know, it's their stuff, it's tearing up and costing them, I'm sure, a good bit of money. And, you know, and I said, why are you sending your crews out here if you're gonna sit on your butt and not do anything? But, my second question is on animal control. I live right along that south side where that creek is and all that. Been having a lot of problems with coyotes and foxes and stuff like that, which kills some animals and all that, and I've been having dispatch of them. And will animal control help with some of that, or do I have to stay out there at night and continue to do my dispatching?
I don't think we would be able to include any
Help on the
activities
coyotes
for
and
wildlife
stuff.
management.
Because the cows have been coming up the creek there behind my house, and they've been killing my turkeys and chickens and all of
Yeah.
my stuff. So,
Well, I've been putting my own plan into effect for quite a while about that.
yes, sir, I understand. I understand. The chief is right back there, so we just don't, we want to make sure we don't tell him what kind of plan it is, but we got a plan.
Well, I haven't had any of the neighbors, even though when they hear the booms, come in asking any questions.
Well, that's those guns going off to scare the birds, isn't it?
Yeah.
That thing there? Okay.
It's Fort Cavazos, that's what it
Yeah, it's Fort Cavazos, it's their overflow.
there,
That's it.
yeah.
Okay. All right, anybody else have any more questions? Yes, ma'am.
Cindy Edmiston, live on West 3rd Street. An additional comment on his question, would it behoove the city to contact Encore, questioning versus an individual, to ask them about coming and doing their tree trimming that they're really obligated to do? So a city may have more bite than an individual citizen here or there.
We have contacted them, and
Oh,
they.
so it falls
they-
on deaf ears too with the
Yes,
city council?
we get the same respect y'all got. They just said when it breaks, they'll come out and fix it, but until then. that- Yeah. As many people as we can get to call them, we might be able to make a change, but the way it stands now, we get the same amount of respect y'all do.
Yes, sir.
It is an election year.
All right, does anybody else have any other questions or comments or anything? Okay. We're going to take okay, it says that this budget will raise more revenue from property tax than last year's budget by amount of $29,580, which is a 6.21% increase from last year's budget. The property tax revenue to be raised from the new property added to the tax roll this year is $13,952. So do we have anybody who wants to take action on this? Mr. Wiggins.
I move that we adopt ordinance O 8-15-2024-1.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Joyce. All right, all in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Now, one more. It is now 6:25, and our regular special called council meeting is now closed. And it is 6:25, and a public hearing for tax rate is now open. Council to hear public comments on the proposed 2024 tax rate for fiscal year 2024-2025. Kent?
Mayor, I'll just do a couple comments here on the tax rate. We already talked about this rate staying the same. The reason that we're able to collect a little bit more tax revenue this year than we would, or next year than we would this year, is just simply the appraisals going up. And you can see in that statement that the mayor just read, about 13,000 of that is from new value that was added, construction, sheds, carports, whatever the county was, or the Central Appraisal District valuated this year. But the tax rate is split into two portions. You have the maintenance and operation tax rate, and you have the interest and sinking tax rate. The city of Bruceville-Eddy does not have an interest and sinking tax rate. That is something that we could consider leveraging ourselves through a general bond obligation. That, of course, would have to go before the voters, but you've got plenty of wiggle room on that one. The M&O basically just supports everything that we do on a day-to-day basis here at the city of Bruceville-Eddy.
All right. Is there any comments? Does citizens have any comments or anything on this portion? No? Okay. It is now 6:27, and this public hearing is now closed. It is now 6:27, and our regular special called council meeting is now open. And it's number 12. It says, adoption of the proposed tax rate for 2024. Council to discuss, consider, and possibly take action to adopt ordinance 08-15-2024-2, levying a value tax for the year 2024, FY 2024-2025, at a rate of 0.460000 per $100. Assess valuation of all taxable property within the corporation limits of the city of Bruceville-Eddy as of January the 1st of 2024. The proposed tax rate would increase total taxes in the city of Bruceville-Eddy by 6.32%. Okay, now we can discuss it and ask questions. Anybody have any questions or discussions? Kent, you have something else
Mayor,
you would like to say?
I'll just say briefly, for any motion that we have tonight, it has to be worded exactly like
Okay,
this in
yes.
order for this tax rate to be
Yes,
take place.
so
But
if
yes,
we have
open
any
it up.
questions, we'll take it. If not, we can make a motion, but it has to be read like it is up on the screen. Mr. Wiggins.
Okay, I move that the property tax rate be increased by the adoption of a tax rate of 46 cents per $100 of valuation, which is effectively at a 4.25% increase in the tax rate.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr.
Oh,
Word?
go ahead.
Okay, all in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. All right, number 13, ratification of property tax revenue increase. Council to discuss, consider, and possibly take action on ratifying the property tax revenue increase reflecting in the annual budget for the fiscal year 2024-2025, beginning October the 1st of 2024 and ending September the 30th of 2025. You got something on that, Kim?
Briefly. This is really just a state law that says that you have to ratify this portion of the tax rate and the budget independently. So just need a motion to do exactly what that agenda item says.
Okay,
Same word language?
No, you would just follow along
Just
with
follow.
item number 13.
Okay.
okay. Mr. McGrew?
Oh, yep, okay. So I move that we ratify the property tax revenue increase reflected in the annual budget for the fiscal year 2024, 2025, beginning October 1st, 2024, and ending September 30th, 2025.
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Prater seconded. All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll make a
Richard?
motion to adjourn.
All right. Do I have a second on that?
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor? This meeting is now adjourned. That's Mr. Prater's favorite one, number 14.
I took it from Mr.
Council, if I
Bass.
can steal you for a few minutes, we have a few signatures.
Yeah, before y'all leave, council members, you can turn off your mics, and I need signatures. before y'all- Oh, a time, it is 6:31, and this meeting is now adjourned. Sorry, ma'am.
Okay, you need a signature from me. I can see you leaning my way. Yes, sir. Oh, okay.